and please be seated. So our speaker this evening is Felice Rhiannon. And Felice is a one-spirit interfaith minister serving Brighton and Hove. She's highly regarded for her work as a spiritual counsellor and a celebrant of life's transitions, and also as a blogger.
Yes.
Felice often refers to herself as a sage in training and is with us tonight to share her wisdom on the topic of conscious aging and spiritual eldering. And since I'm not even sure how to grow old gracefully, or even disgracefully, I'm really looking forward to hearing Rhiannon speak this evening. Please welcome Felice to the pulpit.
Thank you, Tony, for the reading, and thank you, Michael. And, of course, thanks to the late John O'Donoghue for his amazing work and inspiring words. I'll be referring back to them several times as we look at what I consider the joyful process of spiritual eldering. May all your worry and anxiousness about your age be transfigured. For me, the deep question is, how can we transfigure aging itself? After all, the truth is we've been aging since the day we were born. So you do know how to age gracefully. You've been doing it for quite a while. And yet, aging only seems to be an issue at some point in life. Maybe different points for different ones of us, but we don't tend to think of it in our teens and 20s. To transform our own aging and the anxiety we probably feel about it, we need to bring aging out of the medical world, out of the world of diminishment and decline. Olders, as I like to call us, are often seen as passive, voiceless, and unimportant. And we, as a group, certainly have no spiritual life to share with our communities. Now, certainly modern medicine and improvements in technology have made some of us have a little bit easier transition into aging. We're living longer and maybe healthier lives than our parents and grandparents. And yet the image in the media and in advertising and probably in our own consciousness is that we are gently fading away into the sunset, maybe with a round of golf and a hand of bridge until the end. It's only very recently that this image has begun to shift. So here, rather than honoring John O'Donoghue, I'm going to paraphrase Rainer Maria Rilke, and some of you are probably familiar with this quote. Let us not search for answers, but live in the questions. Then, someday, we will gradually, without even noticing it, live our way into the answers. So, let us consider a few questions about aging. How do we find the life-enhancing aspects of the aging process? How do we enliven each day and transform it into a gift? How do we deepen our connection with the divine at this time of life? How do we see this phase of life as valuable, precious, and empowering? How do we use the challenges that we inevitably encounter as opportunities to plumb the depths of who we are and why we are here on earth? To transfigure aging and our worries about it, we can begin with the intention of finding our potential as elders in our communities and discovering the joys of elderhood. To change the paradigm we live in now, as olders, we first need to examine our own internalized images of older people. We all have them. So, how old would you say this person is? She jumps out of bed in the morning, eager to embrace the day. He visits his friends and families regularly. She probably cycles, practices yoga, maybe Tai Chi, maybe Pilates. He loves learning new things and exploring new places. She has a zest for life and loves meeting new people. This person is in her 70s. Did you expect him to be younger? If you did, you may be reflecting and unwittingly contributing to our culture's negative bias toward aging. As part of changing this paradigm, it's essential that we recognize our own attitudes and begin the process of changing them so that we can honor ourselves as olders and as elders. So after contemplating, which I'm sure you've done in the last 30 seconds, our internalized view on aging, we can begin a process of life review, looking back. And the purpose of this life review is to harvest our experience and to reap its fruits, to make it conscious. Most of us maybe weren't so conscious when we were in our 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s, maybe. As O'Donoghue wrote, and Tony was kind enough to share with us, may you be given wisdom for the eyes of your soul to see this as a time of gracious harvesting. So I'm now going to ask you to do something very American, if you can bear it. Find a partner, preferably someone you don't know very well. We're going to engage in a short practice called Socialized Meditation. So this is not meditation where you sit quietly. This is a practice where one person speaks and their partner simply listens. This is about listening in sacred space. Rather than feedback or conversation, it's about holding the person who's speaking to you in that embrace of love. So, find a partner. Okay, so partner A is going to pick a number between 1 and 6. Partner B will then read the question on their sheet to A, so you don't know what each other has. B, in the meanwhile, will remain in silence. So A picks a number, B reads the question, A speaks. Got it? So take a moment now to come back into silence, to come back out of conversation, out of listening, come back to your own center. And now we'll reverse roles. So B is going to pick a number. A is going to read the question that corresponds to that number. A is going to listen, and B is going to share. Everybody got it?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. So once again, bring yourself into silence. Come back to your own center. And thank you for your willingness. I know it was a challenge for some of you. The great John O'Donoghue continues, may you have the passion to heal what has hurt you. Another step in claiming our role as elders involves forgiving ourselves and others for real or imagined wrongs that we've done or have been done to us. This clears away much of the unnecessary baggage that we all carry around with us. And forgiveness gives, in O'Donoghue's words, a great dignity and a sense of how free you are. The next step on this journey to spiritual eldering is deepening our spiritual practice. And we can do that using familiar techniques and maybe some that aren't so familiar. Meditation, prayer, contemplation, journaling, and the process that you've just done. It's a deep sharing with people in your community. A willingness to be vulnerable, to open your heart to people that you know and trust. This then supports us in facing our mortality with courage, serenity, and grace. And above all, may you be given the wonderful gift of meeting the eternal light that is within you. With the strength of this inner work, we can become active on our own behalf and on behalf of the planet. We naturally then become role models for those younger than ourselves and for our peers. We're thus called upon to create a world where elders are regarded as wisdom keepers, the holders of the experience and knowledge that can create more honest communication, more loving and compassionate relationship, and a deeper understanding of our spiritual selves. We transform ourselves from elders to elders. Elders who are a natural resource for the liberation, healing, and empowerment of others. We are elders who hold wisdom in its most profound, active state. Thank you all for listening, and thank you all for being here.
Thank you.